Welcome back to Counsil Customs. Coming off of last week's episode, working on finishing up the 68 C10 here. This week, we're going in to another project, trying to help somebody out. We got a 41 Chevrolet here that is in, just doing a little bit of metal work on it. Needs some welding work done, the rocker panel welded on, and I gotta grab some vice grips to open up that door. But as you can see, there's already been a patch panel made for here, but it's got to get fully welded in, smoothed out, and all that. The patch panel needs to get made for this section. Over here on the driver's side, basically a lot of the same thing, except for this side's a little bit further along. It just needs same thing here. This side, there's already been a replacement panel made for right there. If y'all can see that on the inside of the wheel well. And over here on the driver or passenger side, same thing, but it's not welded in. It's just made. So that's got to get welded in. Pull the fender off, make sure the rocker panel is lined up, because I believe the rocker panel needs to come up a little bit. So that's the kind of things we're going to get into. Getting the rockers, basically it's mostly the rockers need to be locked in on the car. The gentleman that owns it tied the trunk shut with the back bumper here. So we'll untie this. Here we go. Now, pull y'all off of there. Cool, trunk stays open. And in here, it needs spare tire well. That one, it's right there on the floor. The two, he already made patch panels for these back cab mount sections. So both of those need to get welded in. It's just a lot of little stuff all the way around the car. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to help them out, get all this little stuff taken care of. I think it should be a pretty quick flip on it. Like bring it in, knock out all the little stuff, and get him back home so he can move on the project, because it's holding him up on getting further along on the car. He doesn't have a welder at his house. He's working in his driveway, all that kind of stuff. So doing it this way will help get another car on the road. And that's all I give a crap about, honestly, is just seeing another old car on the road. So that's what we're going to get into this week. And let's start digging in and see what we can get done. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to get started on the spare tire mount. And we set it in here, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty close fit. It's going to need just a little bit of massaging to get it to fit in here really well. So I'm going to pull it back out, because it's just going to take a little bit of placing it just in the right spot to start getting all the spot welds and everything put in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back out, take my little grinder, and knock all the paint off around the edges. So that way whenever we go to put it in here, it's got a nice good fitment to that. So let me go ahead and pull this out, and we'll start doing that. So now we've got a couple of spots down along here that are sticking up. So I'm going to take the hammer and dolly and just start working all this stuff down. All right, so I got it sitting in here, and this tub is a little bit smaller than the factory tub that was in here. This is the OEM replacement that you can get online for it. So I'm gonna weld the spot welds where I can, and then it looks like on both ends the spot welds actually miss. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill the holes back up, but I'm gonna put a stitch along the outsides to hold in the spare tire well. All right, so yesterday we got the spare tire tub finished up in here, and we went ahead and put in this back panel. On this side, we still have this one over here to do, and I'll show y'all what we come up with on this side for making it all work. I'll do it on video, but on this side, I just needed to get it done, so I figured out exactly how we had to do it. So I did that one, and then over here on the driver's side of the car, this panel is already finished up. The rocker panel was already finished up, and it just needed the spot welds all the way down it on the top and on the bottom side, all the way down along. So this side is wrapped up, other than coming back and like knocking the heads of the welds down and primering it. And it's like that on front and back door. So this side is a wrap, basically, but it was just simple stuff. So that's why I didn't really put it on video, because all you're gonna see me do is just running spot welds down it. But over here on the passenger side, this is where it's a little bit more tricky, and we kind of played with it a little bit here just a minute ago. And this side, the panel, the rocker panel, he's already got little pieces made to attach the B-pillar to the panel. So it's got self-tapping screws in it right now, just holding everything in place so we can come back and weld it up and trim it and make it look nice and smooth. Back here on the back, as you can see, we got the jack holding it up, because in here he had the same thing going on of the self-tapping screws holding the panel in, and it was just a little bit off. So we just undid the screws up here on the top side so we could move it up into place to be able to lock this in, and we could start doing the same thing over here. And then on the inside of the wheel well, there's a panel right there that's got to get welded in as well. It's already fitted to it, and it fits up very nice. So we're just going to weld that in and lock it in, and that'll hold the rocker panel on this side. And then we'll have to make a little piece to go right here to finish this out, but that's easy stuff. So we're going to get working on getting the rocker locked into place, so that way we can start making that little panel. All right, so I'm just going to keep burning this in right here on this corner. You see what I've got going on, and then whenever I get this all put in, I go ahead and pull my screws out over here, and then I can run down through here, pull these screws out, and put tack weld on a spot weld on each one of these. And then I'm gonna have the same thing going on up here. I'm tacking it all together, and then pulling the pieces out and doing all that. Same thing up here as I did back here on this back corner. So I've just got to get all that tied in, and then once we get all of this done, and we go up here, do the B-pillar, and then we do that front rocker, then we can pull the fender off, do inside of here, pull the fender and the rear tire off, get inside of here, and then we'll make the panel that goes right here as well. So right here in this corner, I told y'all earlier in the video that we were going to get to this one, and he had already formed a lot of this. I had to trim off the top where he had it just a little bit extra, and down here in the bottom there's a curvature in here that I went ahead and put into this part to get a tighter fit. So now I'm going to come back and weld all this up. There is some of it that has a little bit of a gap, but I'm fine with filling a gap and then coming back and then flushing it all back out, because that's what we did over here, and it turned out really nice. It's got a nice, good, smooth transition, and he's gonna paint the inside of the trunk, and he's got trunk liner and all that stuff. So over here on this side, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll show you whenever I get it all welded out. All right, so there's that corner all welded up. You can see it's welded up against the outer panel, and the seam over there around the edges all the way in. So that corner's done. Set the spare tire in, so now we can put the trunk down. Now we just got a couple more little spots on the car, and it's a wrap. All right, so that's it. We're loading this car up and taking it back to the owner. I know the filming on it was kind of sporadic. Tried to get it in because it's for a customer, so you're trying to get it in and knock it out as fast as possible and give them the best outcome. He needed a lot of little stuff, and it's not like I'm taking on customers' cars for any period of time. That's why I didn't mind filming the fact that it's a customer's car. I'm not doing customers. I was just helping out an elderly man that has a pacemaker, that he can't weld something himself because that's too risky for him. So we got all the welding taken care of for him. He came up here. He every day he showed us what he wanted done. We did everything that he needed, and we got this car wrapped up for him. So appreciate y'all watching. See you on the next one.